Hi, it's the 17th of December and
It's 6:15.
and well sorry. Welcome to Geeks on Screen with Coffee and welcome today Gail Shaw. Um Before we start, Gail, obviously we've got some before people start watching, we've got some internet we might have some internet challenges, but so that sound and vision synced, okay? And obviously if you haven't seen this before, you won't have seen this then. I don't know how that's coming across.
Lovely. I like it.
Uh, no expense is spared on the graphics budget, just so you know.
Did you steal your child's toys for that?
Yes. They're still not very happy about that. Shh, don't tell them. All the letters that were on the fridge are now up here. I think. Oh, I've done something daft. I've got something. Oh, never mind that one. I'm sure that'll be fine. I think I muted everything. So how are you? So it's Geeks on Screens with Coffee. So are you drinking coffee or have you got another beverage?
No coffee, I'm afraid. It is 8 p.m. here, and I'd really like to get some sleep tonight. So no, I have a Belgian chocolate milkshake. It'll have to do.
Oh, okay. Good. Any drink is acceptable. We don't really judge. You're allowed to have anything. So we do have.
I'd like to leave coffee.
All right. So if you have, because you haven't seen this before, I'm just going to do a quick introduction for Gail. Please stop me if any of this is untrue. You're an MVP, and you have been for a number of years. Since 2008.
13 years, I believe.
All right. You've worked on 4 books.
Right.
You're in Johannesburg. And hopefully we won't have any load shedding.
No load shedding at the moment. No load shedding at the moment. We're stable. They keep threatening, but we haven't had any load shedding since October.
And I did go down investigating the background of Gail Shaw, the country singer, before I realised that wasn't quite you. That was my fault. Just and you are the owner of some moggies, some felines.
One who's just run away that does not want to talk to me tonight. I have 2 cats, both named after Greek deities, because, I mean, what else could I name them after? I suppose I could name them after Egyptian deities, but...
You could Roman, Greek, very similar, aren't they?
Yeah, same deities, different names. They just relabeled them. The Romans filed off the Greek names and put their own on.
Well, it's assimilation, isn't it?
I mean, the cats own the house. Yeah.
So what are their names?
So the older one that I've had for like 6 years now is Hecate, named after the Greek goddess of witchcraft, doors, portals, transitions, and the moon. And I recently picked up a very pale ginger male cat, who, of course, had to be named Apollo for that colouring.
So does
So he's golden with blue eyes.
So do they get on or yet? Or
they're currently at the stage of glaring and hissing at each other, although they did get to a metre apart last night. I'm very impressed. That's the closest they're willing.
Do they one leave the room if the other one walks in? Or
right now, for my study, if Apollo walks in, Hecate jumps on the windowsill and glares at him until he sleeps out. She is smaller, but she's definitely the boss of the house. It's her house, so I mean, she has to be.
And what, you're just staying in her house and clean up after her?
No, I'm the slave.
Yes.
I'm the human slave.
Yeah, you're her person. She's not your cat.
Fill the food bowls, clean the bed. Yeah, you know, that kind of thing. Why is my food bowl empty? Where's the catnip?
Yeah. I need something to rub against. Where are you? I was watching one of your presentations. I'm not sure which one it was. It was one of the remote ones, and you could hear the cat meowing quite loudly. Oh, is the internet not working? I think it's. I think is it me just coming through? I can still see you looking. It's it's still okay our end.
I can hear you, but you were getting stretched out
Oh.
there. Sounded like I had some Doppler effect going.
I promise you, I am stationary. That's
Well, careful, because I actually have a degree in physics, and the definition of stationary is a really interesting one. They don't let me play with my physics degree very often, so
I guess the loose. Of course, I am moving constantly at several hundred miles an hour. Yeah. I am relatively stationary to the building. Yeah.
everything is relative. But to go back to your earlier point, yes, the cats, well, Kate specifically at this point, joins in meetings quite enthusiastically.
So
there are three voices that can wake her up. Mine is not one of them. I can shout at her and she will just sleep through it. But my boss, one of my role-playing game masters, and the solution architect in my company, if she hears any of them, she's on my desk within minutes.
are they part of her not pack what pride
She's never met any of them, not in person, but she's learned there are people I frequently have meetings with, so she's learned to associate their voices with lots of strokes because my hands are free. And
yeah, human's going to be stationary for a little while so I can get some attention.
And human doesn't need the keyboard, so I will put myself right here.
Oh yeah. A colleague was on video, and his cat was on the desk, and as the cat does, tries to rub itself on your face, and then turns around, tries to rub its bum on your face, and obviously he's trying to watch, watch the screen around the cat, doing the best he can. Yep. Oh,
it's a couple of months ago, I did a demo for a client, and cat halfway through paws around my wrist, chewing on my fingers. I'm sort of like, yeah, the data warehouse design. So I asked the client the next day, because she said, could you do that demo again on Thursday for other people? I was like, sure. Is there anything you'd like changing? So she said, yes, do it without the cat, please. I'm sort of, I make no promises about that. I mean, I can add more data warehouse details. I can do a schema for you. I cannot promise the cat won't be there. The cat did join in.
So have you who looks after them when you're who looks after her Kate when you're away?
One of my neighbors. I live in a block of flats, so there's close neighbors. One of my neighbor down one floor has 5 cats of her own. She keeps taking in strays. So when I go away, the neighbor looks after feeds my cats. And if need be, when she goes away, I'll look after hers.
Yeah, that sounds good. I mean, it's a good fair swap, isn't it? I mean, not that you've been going away recently.
I've left Joburg once since March. Yeah.
So
it's been a fun.
How I'll ask you 2 questions. So one is, how are you right now? And then the other is, how have you been and how are you? So, because
right now, fine. I'll be honest. Any presentation, anything like this tends to get me fairly energized. So I can be bouncing up and down during a presentation. It's pretty much that's it. It's going to be that way. Oh, how have we been this year? Oh my goodness, that is a can of worms you're opening there. This has been the year from hell, and I think everybody agrees with that. So my boss, back in March, I told my boss that my goals for the year, so just put things in time context. South Africa got COVID quite late. We were well behind the rest of the world for any cases. Isolation does do nice things, but bottom end of Africa, it was middle of March, I think, before we got our first few. Got out of control fairly quickly because, well, the president asked really nicely, pretty please could everybody behave? And actually, it kind of worked. We actually kept a fairly flat caseload for quite a while. But things didn't keep going according to plan. Anyway, my boss, when we met in March, I said to him, given what's happening in the rest of the world, my goal for the year is survive. We met for our year-end review about a month ago, and we ticked off all goals for the year as achieved. Congratulations. In other words, nothing bloody well got done this year. Virtually nothing. And we're actually fine with it. This isn't something I tell most people, so of course I'm telling half the world now because everyone's going to be watching. So how many people did you say you have as audience? Two, three?
Let's see. So generally it's quite low. There's a couple of people who are online now who are watching, and then it goes up onto YouTube, and then people can watch it afterwards. But you know, if you're not happy, we can take it down afterwards. It's, you know.
That was a joke to give you the opportunity to tell me about your mother watching it.
Well, I think she is. In fact, do you know what? I don't think she is.
Is EastEnders on TV?
No, yeah, there's probably something on tonight. No, normally there's a like on Facebook, and I haven't seen anything. So I'm sorry, she hasn't been watching.
You're gonna have to have words with her.
I am. I've just got Facebook on the other screen, and I can't see anything. No. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Stein, so someone I work with is watching on YouTube. On Facebook.
So we have one audience member.
Yeah, we got at least 3, including me and you.
Sweet. I've been struggling, to be honest. So this isn't something I generally talk about in public, but it's not a big deal. I've been struggling with depression on and off for like 5 years now, 5, 6, probably longer. Yeah. And this year just turned the dial up to 15 on it. This has been probably the hardest year I've had in the last 5 or 6. Combination of isolation, because you heard me talking about the cats. You may have noticed I wasn't talking about anyone else. It is indeed, for the most of the year, it's been me and a cat here. We're still working from home. My company reopened our offices in November with caveats from the CEO. Do not go in unless you have to. Work from home until whatever. I mean, we only opened our offices in late October, early November, I think it was. And legally, we could have done that in June, July. We didn't. So it's been work from home, work from home, work from home. We never quite got the COVID cases down like Europe did. We certainly never pulled off a New Zealand. Basically, once things got out of control, there was no chance of that happening. We may be isolated at the bottom of Africa, but we've got a lot of problems that prevent that kind of thing. And fairly early on, cases got into several of our informal settlements and just spread like wildfire. Informal settlements and squatter camps. Pretty much no running water, shanty towns. That's so.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to spread like, wildfire. Just through those, because of people are in close contact. It's not like they're spaced out or they can stay inside. It's impossible.
They can't.
Yeah. And
we're talking about people who have got informal jobs or virtually no jobs. So yeah, once that out of control. So this year, pretty much for me, has been hide inside. Pretty much all year. I haven't seen friends face to face since March. I don't expect to until July, at the best. Absolute best is July. Probably more like the end of next year. Brutally honest, this last year has been a struggle continuously against the pit of despair. And I'll be honest, it's been a losing battle a lot of the year. So on that highly optimistic note.
No, it's a realistic note. I think everyone has been struggling in degrees. If you've got family around you, that helps. And if you have family around you, sometimes that doesn't help.
Something that's actually helped a lot is seeing other people.
Sorry, we had a disjoint there, didn't we? Carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, we did have another little. Something I found that's been helping is seeing that other people are struggling. I'm not the type that can, oh, you can talk about it. Generally, no, I can't. If I could, I'll speak to a professional, but talking to friends doesn't really help. But seeing that other people are going through similar has actually been a lot of help. I'll note Scott Hanselman's been very open on Twitter about some of his struggles. Not necessarily depression, but his, everybody goes through this. Understand, accept it. So in the hopes that somebody else can look and say, oh, I'm not the only person that's been fighting this year. No, you're not. And it doesn't matter prominence, public appearances. Yeah, no. It's crap.
I mean, I was talking with, I can't remember his name, of a chap, this thing a couple of weeks ago, and his wife had a stroke a few weeks before that, or a month or two before that. And so, and therefore, visiting her in hospital, it's just been, her birthday. I had to do it from outside the ward, from a balcony. And my mother-in-law died about 6-8 weeks ago, and that's been kind of very hard on my wife, and it was not seeing her or not being able to get to the home and things like that. So so I kind of just think, I have a job, I've got things to be thankful for, and I think that's what keeps you going. Otherwise, I would be doing some sort of podcast, just talking to people like every couple of times a week, just trying to keep my own sanity, that I can actually see humans.
It's funny, back in March, when my role-playing group moved online, and we had to move pretty early because one of our group is a high school teacher. I work in an office, and one of the other guys works more in, I actually don't know 100% nobody does anymore. He used to work at actually a store. He was a teller. So yeah, I've got the entire of my bloody office. My game master has his entire high school group, and then third guy's customers. So we moved pretty early online. But it was funny. Initially, we moved to Discord. Initially, it was, yeah, we don't need cameras, mics are enough. We don't need to see each other. All we need is we hear each other, and we've got our game screen. 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and cameras were on. Everyone's. Not almost everyone's. The one person doesn't have bandwidth to handle it, but he even tried occasionally. But yeah, that's how long it lasted before we were sort of going, I need to see somebody. I don't know. Please.
I'm surprised you managed 3 weeks, because I turn.
We're stubborn.
I turn cameras on at work in customer meetings, and no one else will have the camera on, and I'll still have mine on. Just because I want to encourage people to use it. Not for any other reason apart from it's a bit of human contact.
Work, we often have cameras on. There's no actual requirement. A lot of people do, some people don't. We went through a phase at work where everyone was trying out the weirdest backgrounds they could possibly manage. We went through a short phase where everyone was sporting halos or devil horns or the other team's add-ons. But I mean, this is what the role-playing I'm talking about is just my personal group. And we've played online with just the voice before. But it was a case of 3 weeks, and there was no actually. I just want to see you again. Camera, if I can't go and visit.
You know, if they're men, you'll be able to see how their beard and how they haven't combed their hair in weeks.
Talking about that, so I'm getting whined at from the floor. I'm apparently too loud.
You can bring.
I'm keeping her awake.
Oh, sorry. You can whisper. It's fine.
No. So my game master, the teacher, he normally goes clean shaven with a beard. So the first time I saw him, he was clean shaven, beard, but he was starting to grow an afro, as in his hair was shaved except in the middle. And that was March. By October, the afro was like there. I swear, this thing was like 6-7 centimeters high. Clean shaven on both sides, no beard. And I'm so, are you trying to set a record here or something?
I mean, you'd have no other chance to do that.
And Mark, you have completely frozen again. So
I'm just gonna mime for a bit, you know, with the invisible wall, until you come back.
Ah, there we go.
Are we back?
Hello.
Hello. You were telling me about the massive hair.
Hello.
Hello. No.
Yeah. So his afro was like 7.
Carry on. No, I can hear you. You're coming through here. Oh, we've lost her. No, go back.
Okay, sweet. So by the point he shaved, his hair was like 7 centimeters high afro, clean shaven on both sides. It was the funniest thing. So I watch every week as it's slowly. I should point out again, I'm talking about a high school teacher here. So
I guess he'd never be allowed to do that for work if he was going into school every day.
He's been going into school every day.
Oh.
We've been teaching in our schools reopened July.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we've had schools opening and closing depending on how many COVID cases there would be in the school and whether teachers got it. And I think, you know, it's odd because some days I haven't been. My wife said, when did I go into the nearest city this morning? Which was, it's only 15 miles away. And I said February, I think. The furthest distance I've been from the house is probably about 4 miles, and that's to the supermarket and back.
I used to refuel my car about every two weeks because I've never driven much. So most of the time my driving was the office and back. The office is 15 kilometers away. 15, it's a roundabout route. It's 10 k's as the birds fly, but the roads do not go like that. Yeah. So it's roughly 30 k's a day, there and back, there and back, there and back. And I can do 500 on a tank without too much difficulty. Yeah, we can work this out. And the occasional supermarket trip or, little. I have, prior to mid-November is an exception. Well, in fact, early November, I filled up my car for the second time since March. Yeah. Between middle of March and early November, I used 2.5 tanks of petrol because I filled up in March when things were starting to go bad, and then November I took a drive out to Mpumalanga, the what the former Eastern Transvaal, the escarpment. So South Africa, the center of the country is on a high plateau, with the Drakensberg forming the border. Well, the border most of the way around. The Eastern Transvaal, now called Mpumalanga, Eastern Transvaal is a really old name for it. And Mpumalanga is where the plateau pretty much falls off to the Lowveld. It's only 4 hours drive from Joburg, and it's beautiful. So back in mid-November, I got a chalet out there for a week. Took a drive out. That was the first time I'd driven more than 10 kilometers since March. Because it's been the supermarket, which is like 3, and occasional trips up to into the city for various reasons.
It is, yeah.
It was funny. I got on the highway and thought, oh yeah, right, the car actually has 6 gears. I've been forgetting how to actually drive on highways because I haven't done it since February, March. I
mean, the first time I used the car, I was a bit concerned that if it would start. It had been sitting there for so long. I've gone quiet again, haven't I? Yeah.
No, you're good.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been taking my car every week.
And getting some mileage on it, going to the shop or just
shopping.
Yeah.
I need to go shopping. I don't have somebody else in the house to go shopping. The cats are really bad at it.
God, monsters, terrible.
Yeah, their idea of takeout is a lizard.
Can't you put a little satchel, a little like saddlebags on them, and then load them up with food?
If I wanted to actually get anything, no. I mean, we're talking cats here. If I had dogs, I could do that. But most likely you put that on a cat and all it's going to do is flop on one side and go, no, I'm not moving until you take this off. But yeah, so I've been driving to the shops every week because I have to, because groceries, getting the car to keep running is a side bonus.
Yeah. And you can actually, so are the shops actually busy, or do you find they're quite quiet?
I'm intentionally sticking to a very small supermarket.
All right.
Because I know this place is quiet because it's tiny and it doesn't have very much selection, and I'm fine with that because it's actually nice and quiet. And bonus, I've been going kind of late morning, weekday morning, because it's quiet. That said, I've been into one of the largest shopping centers in this area twice. And, oh, wow. I won't say ghost town, but I know what they used to be like. To give you an idea, it's called Crestus Shopping Centre. It's like 10 minutes from my house. So it's somewhere I used to go fairly often, even during the week. And I'd never be able to get parking closer than like 4 or 5 minutes walk from the mall, because it's a big mall. And I went there a month ago. I got the second closest parking spot to the entrance. I wasn't even struggling.
Oh, really? Oh.
This is a case of that, and this was midday on a Monday. It wasn't a quiet day. Talking Sunday evening or anything. This is busy time, and it's because of, I shouldn't be able to get parking space here just by driving up and driving into it.
Yeah. Are you hearing that a lot of like small shops and small businesses are just shutting down and closing down, restaurants just unable to function?
Paying attention, I have to be honest. I know the florist down nearby is closed, but that's no surprise. The last thing you need in this is flowers, really.
Yeah.
Not exactly essential. Probably, but I'm not going out enough to actually be able to see closed signs on buildings.
All right. Yeah. I think I was talking to a colleague in Portugal, and he was saying that about 40% of small restaurants and bars are closing down because it's just they're having a particularly tough time there.
I'm not surprised.
No, and I'm sure the same is happening here, but I've barely been out of the house. So it's a bit like you. I mean, I go out and do the shopping, and my wife went into she went into the local sort of village town, and I've driven through, and it looks reasonably busy. It actually, when I went through, it looked like nothing much had changed. A few people wearing masks, but not everybody. Nobody walking around giving each other much distance. And I go to the supermarket, people still reach over you to get to stuff, and you're thinking this really isn't the right behaviour.
Not here. So firstly, the shopping centre I go to, the shops I go to are not busy. But in general, I'm seeing a lot more people backing away. People.
Okay.
There's definitely a lot of wariness around here. Look, you get the idiots.
Yeah.
I had one of them 2 days ago, well, 3 days ago. Went into a pharmacy, stood in the queue. Person pretty much came that far behind her, and I said, "Back away, please." And she had a fit. So, backwards. I'm standing where I should be. No, you're standing on the marker, but you're giving me that much distance. So how about that? Basically. So just to take a step back and actually say nothing.
No, you've got to say something.
But no, she had to have a fit because somebody told her to please make a fix.
It's just a little bit of consideration, and I mean, it isn't going to last forever. We're not going to be in this forever. It will end. You know, there's a saying which is, you know, it will be all right in the end, and if it's not all right, it's not the end. So,
yeah, look, it's not going to last forever, fortunately. Look, we're seeing a mix here. I see reasonably decent behavior from most people, but there's still idiots. But on the other hand, our president just had to close Durban beaches because people were crowding. And by crowding, I mean crowding. Not there's only 2 meters between people on the beach, as in shoulder to shoulder on a public beach. So Durban beaches are closed, and that is not going down well because Durban beaches are one of the big Christmas destinations.
Oh, okay, right. So, well, people have had parties, and there have been when we did have certain restrictions, people would be out at clubs, and then for some reason the government decided they should all shut at 10. But then everybody leaves and gets out on the street at 10, and then there's massive crowds of people at 10 o'clock in the night, and it didn't really work out.
Culture is very much in terms of street. For example, I'd never walk through Joburg at 8 in the evening. I wouldn't walk through my own suburb at 8 in the evening. And this is from someone who walked through Hyde Park. I think it was your Hyde Park, not mine. It was interesting. Nobody bothered me. I'd never dream of even walking on my own street at 10 o'clock. We don't have that pedestrian culture here.
Oh, okay. All right.
We've got a curfew at 7, which I'm sure is going to be lovely at New Year. I'm wondering how they're planning to enforce it.
So yeah, I think we're having a relaxation over between, I think, 23rd to the 27th, where you can meet one other household inside. So you can meet your parents, or you can go over and you can have, now that's better than nothing, but because I think that the expectation is that people would do it anyway. and break the rules.
Yeah, but the thing is, people will break the rules is not a reason to not have them.
No.
I mean, if that's the rule, if that's what you're going to say, why don't you just take the entire book of law and throw it out?
Yeah, all right, yeah. It's not a very good argument.
The thing is, so the comment I heard from someone in the US was they've been speaking to a person about, restaurants and bars, and this person had replied, but if it wasn't safe, why did the government open it? That's what some people think, that if it's open, it must be safe. So don't bloody well relax the rules with, well, they're going to do it anyway, because a lot of people are going to think, well, they're saying it's okay, so it must be okay. So we'll take 3 households of 12 people and.
Yes, I think that's a complete lack of, the government isn't doing it because it's okay or not okay. They're making decisions based upon financial impact, and sometimes a people impact, depending on how they think it's going to affect how people will vote the next time. So they're not actually.
But they should also.
Yes.
And also in terms of public health, there is some. Here, I don't know about other places, but you still get the people that think, well, the government wouldn't allow it if it was a really bad idea.
Yeah, well, we all know diseases take a break between the 23rd and the 27th. What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
I think there's an expectation that each day will put us back, I think, 4 or 5 days. And so there need to be another highly contained lockdown afterwards.
I'm looking at January and wondering just how bad we're going to get hit. We cannot do another full lockdown. We can't afford it. And I'm not saying we as in the government. The people can't. I mean, we ended the last one because there were riots. Not riots in the US sense of my freedoms, riots in the sense of we're starving.
Yeah.
We've got no money, we've got no food. The hell. That's our problem. We cannot go into the harsh lockdown. But on the other hand, it's going to be it's summer here, so outside partying, gathering, holiday.
Yeah,
the South African tradition is lots of people, braais, beaches.
You've got the good weather. We've got the cold weather where the flu is going to multiply, and it's flu season, as it's called.
Maybe. So interestingly enough, we didn't have a flu season this year. I mean, normally we do. We have mild winters. That doesn't change anything. Normally, South Africa's got the flu season in winter and blah, blah, blah. We didn't have one. As in, if you look at the flu cases through the year, there was virtually no bump in June, July. Funnily enough, the precautions against COVID actually knock flu out because it's more susceptible to those symptoms. So you may actually end up with minimal flu this year because it's a side effect. So take that as a small consideration. Australia also saw no flu this year. I think there's other Southern Hemisphere countries had the same thing. We've all seen the flu line is pretty much flat through the year. It just hasn't bumped. So small consolations.
All right.
I can't do much about your snow.
We don't have snow. I mean, I'd like some snow. We had some snow come down from white stuff come down from the sky, and then it just falls on the wet, soggy mud, and then doesn't stick around.
We don't know what snow is up here. Side effect of not been wet enough and not been cold enough in winter. It just doesn't.
I think my children have seen, like, literally a couple of snow days, and that's it. You know, it's
Uh, Other than Seattle and Iceland and other visits like that, I think I've seen snow once in the last 15 years. And I'm talking about a light dusting of white on the plants that melted as soon as the sun hit it.
the last time I was in Seattle, there was heavy snow, and it was for the Microsoft conference, so it caused people couldn't get there. Remote people flew in and they could get there. People who lived round Redmond and lived round Bellevue couldn't get there because the roads were knackered. And we went. There was 4 of us, and we went out in the evening in the snow and stuff. It was reasonably deep, but it'd been cleared away but it was snowing heavy. And there was a guy from Brazil with us, and he was just going, "We can't go out in this. We'll die." And we're going, "No, this is fine. This is lovely." Walking down to Pike's Place, in the snow, and then walking along the edge and going up. Going uphill was a slight concern. Oh, is she joining in? Oh, definitely. Yeah. I miss snow. I didn't have the right footwear. I didn't have wellies or anything, but it would have been fun. Right. So
I think we are virtually out of time. I hope you didn't actually want to talk in technology.
well, we're almost out of, but I have to ask you there's a couple of questions everybody gets. So if you've got have you got to run, or can you spare me a bit more time? Do you need? All right, we'll be quick. Gail, what's your favourite cheese?
It's 9 p.m. here. I'm not doing anything else tonight.
All right, give me 5 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. All right, what's your favourite cheese?
Cheese. Probably cheddar. I'll be boring.
Oh,
Sometimes it's better.
Are you sure just cheddar?
I'm boring. Yes, I think cheddar's just fine.
So there are 2 other questions, and they are the final questions. One is who to kind of nominate for the next conversation. So the next person I talk to. So I get that the people I'm talking to then effectively pass it on. So I think JP from who's he's not. I don't think he's in Jobo, but he runs. Oh yeah. So he runs. So you know him. Yeah. So he was the one who
he runs the daily user group.
So he was the one who nominated you. So think about someone to nominate. You don't have to answer now.
I'll tell you right now. Have you spoken with Michael Johnson?
No, but JP said speak to him. I think he's coming up. Right. And then the last question is a question from this book, which is this has 1,001 questions in it. And you just pick a random number between 1 and 1,001.
Okay, I'll pick the random number then.
Have you got a random number? Are you getting a random number generator?
I'm doing better than that.
Oh, you're going to roll some dice.
I did say I've got role-playing groups. I have dice. I specifically have people here. So, 0, 2, 1. 21, please.
21, okay. That is a question that I am not prepared to ask you. Can you roll again? Some of the questions are not appropriate for family time.
These guys seem to like their zeros. 518.
518. Okay. 518. You don't even know if I'm really asking you. Oh, okay. Okay, this does work out. What's the most expensive thing that one of your pets has eaten?
I guess unfortunate is the fact that the cats don't tend to eat things that they're not supposed to. Well, they've clawed my couch, but
what's the most expensive thing they've destroyed then? Because cats do like to destroy things.
Again, fortunately, these 2 are fairly decent. Actually, my previous cat, my late ball of fluff, was responsible for the destruction of 3 keyboards. Because she had a habit of coffee here, jumping on my desk and knocking over my cup of coffee straight onto my keyboard. I don't know if she was intentional, but she damn well did a good job of it.
And not just one.
Funnily enough, the backlit soft touch keyboards don't like coffee on them.
Is that coffee with sugar or without sugar? Apparently, it's the sugar that makes them all sticky and knackers them.
I have it with sugar, but I'm talking about backlit keyboards, so I think anything on there tends to screw them up spectacularly.
You can buy waterproof ones, or
I could, yes,
but the cost of a new keyboard is not too much to worry about.
I do like my expensive gaming keyboards, and yes, she did once destroy an expensive gaming keyboard. I was not happy. I mean, what do you do? Yell at the cat? She doesn't know what she did.
No, it's not like they're malicious or doing stuff on purpose. Oh, yeah.
I don't know about that sometimes.
Are you aware of Eddie Izzard, the comedian? Eddie Izzard? Does he?
I know the name.
Okay.
I know the name. I was.
If you ever get bored, go onto YouTube, look for Eddie Izzard cats, and there's stuff about how they're kind of cats and dogs work together. Cats are like drilling behind sofas. It's a brrr, brrr. And they're drilling for gold. They're drilling for money. They're and then they extract your blood. Cats, because they're so mean, and that's why you feel all drained after you wake up after you've had a cat with you. I can't do it justice, but if you ever get some free time, we're running slightly over, but thank you, Gail. It has been wonderful, and bye to both people who were watching.
I thought you were saying bye to my pets, and assure you they don't care.
Bye to the animals that don't care.
They're cats. Of course they don't care.
No, we're not important.